Good morning and welcome to the VSA Morning Miner. It's the 12th of July. I'm Ollie O'Donnell and I'm joined by Paul Rankin. Paul, how are you today?
I'm well, even though it's been pretty hot overnight. It's going to be hotter today, they say.
Yeah, it's going to keep getting hotter this week, I think, and into next as well. So get used to it, I think. Right, we've got quite a bit to get through today. Let's start with Central Asia Metals first half operations update. So production figures and a couple of financial highlights.
Yes, that's right. They had in the first half here, they had copper and lead concentrates growth, both quarter on quarter and half on half, but the zinc output was down about 8% on a half on half basis. Cash in the bank at 30th of June was 57.7 million, and gross debt was down to 12 million or so. That included repayments over the first half of $16 million. They do say that the cut and fill project for the Sasa project or mine in Sasa is on schedule for its development at this point in time. So it's a pretty solid set of numbers, I would have to say at this point. Nothing particularly excitement-wise one way or the other, just very solid.
Yeah, if you annualize all of those figures, they're well within the guidance range. As you say, zinc was off slightly, half and half on Q. Grades were slightly down there, even though throughput was up, which helped the lead production. But yeah, that zinc grade was slightly lower, hence the difference there. It should be a pretty strong half financially, though. Obviously, as you mentioned, they're pretty much debt free now, and should clear that before probably the end of the quarter. Just leaving that local overdraft facility, I imagine, $4.5 million. But commodity prices were very strong up until really the last couple of weeks of June. So averaging out, that's going to give a strong half, probably comparable to the second half of last year. And obviously you've got some currency benefit as well, with the tenge weak and now the euro at parity with the dollar, and that's linked to the dinar, so that should help some of the operating costs at Sasa as well.
Mm-hmm. But again, from financially, because of the lower commodity prices and the higher cost basis, we would expect a narrowing of margins, I guess, for all the miners in these second half numbers to come.
Yeah, we won't see those for some time though. Right, let's move on to American Lithium. American Lithium announced yesterday they've started work on their EIA for the Falciani project in Peru. That's their second lithium project. They're working on an updated PEA, which is basically incorporating byproducts as well as updating for pricing, costs, and that sort of thing. And all of that work will then be used to go into a fast-track feasibility study. That PEA should be out later this year. The EIA will include some hydrological drilling, so they've got to test the limits of the water table before they confirm their mine plan. That's obviously, water's obviously a sensitive issue in South America, so quite an important bit of work to do. And that permitting that they need for that borehole drilling should enable them to do some extra extension and infill drilling on the main resource, to extend that based on the surface work that they've done over the last few months.
This is Falciani is both a lithium project and a uranium project, if I remember right. Is that right?
Yes, they've got two separate PEAs. So the lithium is lithium, possibly very much likely to have potash as well. The announcement the other week showed potential for sort of 60,000 tons a year. And what they're not quite sure about is the potential to produce cesium and rubidium, which are there, but fitting them into the flow sheet is being optimized at the moment. And then there'll be a second PEA on the uranium part of the project, which I think is the other side of the mountain, but sort of pretty much the same license area.
Mm-hmm.
Some good news out from Ares Strategic Mining. Big milestone yesterday with all of their steel and equipment arriving on site in Delta, Utah. So along with their strategic partner Mujim, they can start constructing and commissioning the plant. Mujim have done that a few times in Asia before, in Thailand and Laos, I think, and that'll give the USA its first fluorspar facility. They're also making good progress with offtake contracts, and given the relatively short construction period, they're also looking to start mining in tandem, so not long to first production. So exciting milestone for Ares there.
That's a TSX listed company, isn't it?
CSE now.
Uh-huh.
They changed a few months ago. So yeah, it's on the CSE.
And they haven't been a prior fluorite producer before, is that right? Or just trial lots, I guess?
Trial type mining.
Yeah.
Nucor did buy some fluorspar from them, I think, in the 60s, from the Lost Sheep project up in Utah. But no, it hasn't produced at commercial rates ever.
Okay.
But yeah, critical mineral in the US, so good to get some domestic supply. Anything else, Paul? I think Anglo Pacific have announced a significant deal today.
Yeah, that's a significant one on the London markets here this morning, and that is a $185 million U.S. buy of royalties from South 32 by the royalty firm listed here, Anglo Pacific. Company will make a cash payment of $47.6 million and then $82.4 million worth of shares, which would give South 32 a roughly 17% shareholding in Anglo Pacific. And most of these royalties are from producing or
I think we might have lost Paul there. Mostly copper and nickel royalties continuing their transition away from coal towards battery metals. But I think as we've lost Paul, we'll call it a day there.